I'm going to show you today how to cut up a t-shirt, and what this does is it just makes your t-shirts a little less boxy and a little more flattering. So this is how you do it. So the first thing you want to do is just cut out the collar and the edge of the sleeve to give it a softer look. And I'd follow close to the seam so that you can widen it later if you want to, but you can't unwiden it if it's too big. So when you're cutting, make sure and save all the pieces because you'll use some of these later. And you can use the seam as a guide for where to cut. Okay, so now you can see that it gives it a softer edge, and that's pretty good. I mean, some people like their necklines a little bit lower, so then you can widen it if you want to, but I think this is pretty good. Okay, next, right where that shoulder seam is, you're gonna just cut right along the sleeve up to the seam on both sides. And then you're going to use that piece from the sleeve and just cut it in half. And that's going to be used to make the gather of the shoulder. Just wrap it around like that. Kind of gather it a little bit. And tie it. And if you don't want to have the end showing, you can just tie it so that the knot is on the inside of the shirt. And then tie it pretty tight. And then just trim it. Okay. Okay, so this is what it looks like so far. So it just gives it kind of a softer look. And then the next thing, we're gonna cut some patterns here, but you're gonna wanna kind of measure how far down you want to go and not to go below that, because then it'll be too far and then you can't undo that. Okay, so about 3.5 inches. Okay, next we're gonna cut some patterns, some slits here, and we're gonna make kind of a pattern, woven pattern. So I don't want to go further than 3.5 inches. So I'll go a little bit less than that, like 3¼ inches, and make a little cut there. And then we're going to cut some slits that are increasingly wide up the shirt. So I'll just, I guess actually the first one should be pretty small. So we'll leave that one small. And then we'll cut another one a little bit further up. And that one will be wider. And then the next one up will be a little bit wider. And then just keep going up until you get to the top of the shirt. Okay. And then you can kind of pull the shirt and it gives it kind of that cute ropey effect. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to weave it. And so you take the second loop, second strand, pull it over the first one, then go to the second strand and do the same thing all the way down. Okay, all the way down. And then when you get to the bottom, you're just gonna take something to hold it in place, like a pen. Oops, I have to go get it. Okay, so this is what it looks like when it's on. I just have the pen here. You're not gonna keep the pen here. It's just to hold the loop so it doesn't fall out until you tie it when you're done. And this is what it's gonna look like. If you like it like this, you can just leave it. But I also like to show the pattern a little more, so you might want to put a couple of little extra ties here, and I'll show you how to do that next. Okay, so to keep this pattern showing, what you can do is you can kind of put your finger here and move that loop in a little bit, and then you're going to tie it to keep it so that this part of the pattern will still show. So just take one of the scraps of t-shirt that you had saved and just put it right across, and you're going to tie it, but I want the knot not to show as much. I'm going to tie it so it's in the back like that, and just make a square knot. Right over left, left over right. Make some knot tidy and tight, and then just trim the ends. There you go. And that'll keep that pattern showing. And then you do it on the other side. Just there. Wrap that around and back. And tie the knot so it's in the back. Like so. Right over left, left over right, and trim the end. And tie the knot pretty tight so it won't come out. There we go. Okay, and then the last thing is you want to secure the last piece down here, and so you're going to use another little piece of t-shirt and loop it around. Put it through the loop, and then you're going to tie it to the last loop, the last cut. Another square knot. You might want to use a longer piece of t-shirt cloth for this. This is kind of hard to tie. There we go. Okay, so that part is done. And then the last part is I'm going to show you how to make a crisscross pattern in the back so you can fit it to you. This t-shirt fits pretty well, but a lot of t-shirts are just a little bit too big, and if you make a little crisscross in the back, you can like cinch it up and make it more flattering of a fit. Okay, so then what I did next was I put the t-shirt on, and then I looked in the mirror, and I just marked with a pen where I wanted like this kind of crisscross pattern to start and end, and it's gonna end up looking something like this. This is from another t-shirt. So you're gonna want 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 holes, and the first and second holes are kind of far apart, and the third and the fourth holes are kind of far apart. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, maybe I should put that maybe there. I'll make a little X. Okay, and then just look on the t-shirt and do this symmetrically. So just kind of estimate where that is, about the same place. 1. Let's see. Maybe a little further in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. And then you're gonna make tiny little holes. So this is really stretchy t-shirt material, so no matter how small you make it, it's probably big enough. Just make a tiny, tiny little hole where you marked those. And this is going to be at the X there. And make sure you don't cut through to the other side of the t-shirt. Then you'll do the same thing on the other side. And then one last thing is you're gonna take the collar that you cut out and you're gonna cut a pretty thin strip. So something like that. Okay, so then just cut all the way through. Okay, next what you're gonna do, now that all the marks are cut with tiny little holes, you're gonna stretch it, and then you'll take your piece of thin t-shirt material and you're just gonna poke it through. So, oops. T-shirt material. And just, if you can see it, you can just pull it through like that. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. So yeah, t-shirt material. Kind of stretch the hole a little bit to get it started. And then once you see the t-shirt thing, you can just pull it through. Okay, and then what you're gonna do is you're gonna cross, and then the next holes you're gonna go in, then out, and then cross, and then in, then out. So I'll stop at the next stage and show you the next stage. Okay, so you can see now that I've got it up to the second level, and then to finish it off, you're gonna do the same thing, cross, and this will go in, and then pull it through, and then it'll come out. Okay, and then the last thing you'll do is just make another little square knot at the end. Okay. And then you can adjust it. If it's too tight, you can use a longer piece of t-shirt material, or you can cinch it up tighter if you want it tighter. Okay, so I'm gonna see what it looks like. Okay, so here's how the t-shirt looks in the end. It's got the sort of bunched shoulders just to make it look cuter, and it's got the slit sleeves and the patterned front that I've tied here so that you can see the pattern a little bit better so it doesn't bunch up. And it's got the crisscross in the back, which you can make tighter or looser so that it can fit the way you want. And what some people do sometimes is they also cut the hem off the bottom of the t-shirt, which gives it a softer look. But sometimes the hem is nice because it helps keep the t-shirt down. And in addition, some people also cut little slits on the side to give it another look. So it's just what you want to do. So have fun cutting up your t-shirt, and thanks for watching.